Kelly scolds Sophie and throws her bag. Sophie fights back by throwing a stone. A man steps in to help Sophie, but she calls out his fakeness and causes a conflict between him and Kelly. The two start arguing and grappling with each other. Ignoring the criticism, Sophie leaves immediately, getting into a black car. The driver marvels at how young she is, unaware that the man meant to board the car is still behind. Sophie only realizes she's in the wrong car when they address her as Miss Miracle Doctor. Emerges from another luxury car. Kent greets Sophie warmly and invites her to treat his grandmother immediately. A doctor is struggling to save Kent's grandmother, with the grim situation. Despite skepticism, Sophie immediately attends to Kent's grandmother and diagnoses her ailment. Despite others' doubts, Kent insists that everyone vacate the room. Suddenly, a servant declares the hired miracle doctor to be a fraud. Kent rushes in to stop Sophie, but she immobilizes him with a needle, intimidating others. Sophie proceeds with the treatment. Grandma's serious illness is beginning to improve. Sophie provides a prescription to the grandmother. Kent thanks Sophie with a check. She takes away the check and departs. Sophie's family hears that she is coming back. Sophie's half-sister Lily feels unhappy about Sophie's return. Lily's parents comfort her and go to greet Sophie. Lily's family shows concern to Sophie with fake smiles, but Sophie does not accept their insincerity and responds with sarcasm. Sophie makes it clear that she doesn't acknowledge herself as Lily's sister since they have different mothers. Faced with challenges from Lily's family, Sophie remains composed. Sophie enters her room to find it cluttered with items, deliberately done by Lily. Angered, Sophie throws all of Lily's belongings onto the floor. Lily's parents argue with her, but Sophie warns everyone that the house is her property. Lily's father scolds Sophie, but she sees through the hypocrisy of them and leaves. Kent's men uncover Sophie's background, making Kent's interest in Sophie grows stronger, and he orders them to find her. In a nightclub, Sophie is operating something. Walker drinks a glass of wine laced with a laxative. When the laxative takes effect, the spotlight focuses on Walker, who unexpectedly begins to relieve himself, prompting everyone to capture his embarrassing moment. Sophie is highly satisfied with the situation and leaves. After leaving, she is accosted by a group of playboys. Using her skills, Sophie fends them off. Kent and his man, hiding in the shadows, are astonished. Kent flips over the man harassing Sophie and assures Sophie that he will take care of these troublemakers. He then plans to escort Sophie back. Sophie agrees to his invitation that she can stay temporarily at Kent's house and leans in to whisper to Kent that she is not an easy target. Upon returning to Kent's house, a servant takes Sophie to the room prepared specifically for her. After preparing adequately to prevent sleepwalking again, Sophie falls asleep contentedly. Kent still discovers Sophie sleepwalking while he is working at night. When Sophie is about to fall down the stairs, he saves her and carries her back to bed. As he is about to leave, Sophie grabs his collar and they share a kiss. Kent kisses passionately, and even when being bitten, he only feels happy. Sophie is unaware of her sleepwalking. Kent doesn't mention what happened last night. The kiss still leads him to endless aftertastes. After Kent drops Sophie off at home, her father and stepmother begin scolding her, believing that getting into a stranger's car will tarnish the family's reputation. Lily and Kate keep verbally attacking Sophie on the side. Extremely angered, Martin takes out a cane to bit Sophie. Kent enters to reveal his identity. Sophie's father, although astonished, initially doesn't believe him and is then physically disciplined by Kent with a cane. It's only when Kent brings in many of his men that Sophie's father realizes his mistake. Despite this, Sophie has no intention of forgiving him. Consequently, Kent decides to terminate the business cooperation with Sophie's father. In front of everyone, Kent presents Sophie with a ring and expresses his willingness to help her in any way. The onlookers are filled with admiration. Sophie's father, seeking to make amends, asks Lily and Lily's mother to take Sophie shopping for new clothes. When shopping, The store clerk looks down on Sophie's humble attire and doesn't let her touch the clothes. Sophie tears a dress apart and makes her father Martin pay for it. Lily and her mother are extremely angry upon witnessing this. Lily fancies a dress that Sophie likes, but she is informed that Sophie has the priority to purchase it unless Lily pays $3 million. Lily's parents refuse to agree, so Lily leaves the dress behind and exits with tears. The clerk tears the dress then. A male clerk apologizes to Sophie, the store owner. Sophie returns home, shows everyone her shopping haul. Kent tries to add Sophie as a WeChat friend, but Sophie declines. When Sophie comes downstairs, she is mocked by the maid and Lily for her shabby attire. After fending off Lily's attack, then she forces the maids kneel down and gives the maid a scolding. Sophie leaves satisfactorily. Kent finds Sophie on a motorcycle next to their car, asks her why she refused to add him as a friend, but Sophie remains silent and rides off. Kent's friend Charles gets really hyped up because Sophie looks a lot like his cousin. He tells the driver to catch up with Sophie, but fails. Sophie tracks Walker and his companions to their location. Sophie sneaks into their place like a pro. It turns out to be an illegal private casino. Sophie records everyone's bad behavior at the casino, live streams it and calls the police. The alarm blares, but Walker remains calm, directing everyone to escape orderly. However, the police have already sealed off the casino. Prominent figures in the casino begin to berate and physically hit Walker. Sophie hides in the shadows, but Kent emerges, casually asking for her contact information. Upon returning home, Sophie declares her intention to go to the warehouse to find something. She shows no mercy towards the treasures. Martin, feeling angry, tries to hit Sophie but is hurt by her. The bodyguard, recognizing Sophie's skill, hesitates to intervene. Seeing Sophie damaging his possessions, Martin reluctantly instructs everyone to help Sophie find what she is looking for. Sophie finally finds what she was looking for. Martin orders the security to apprehend Sophie, but Sophie fights back. With the box in hand, Sophie leaves. The bodyguard lies on the ground wailing. Kate suddenly detects a smell of something burning outside. Sophie sits by the fountain, opens the box, a photo of her mother, a piano sheet music, and a jade bracelet. Kent knows what Sophie has done and invites her to stay temporarily at his place. Kent brings Sophie a glass of milk, and after expressing his love, he tries to deepen their relationship. As Sophie traces Kent's face and his neck, she slowly agrees but shyly lowers her head. Kent's good friend Charles recently discovers that Sophie is his biological cousin. He excitedly steps forward to acknowledge her and show concern. Since Sophie doesn't recognize Charles, they decide to undergo a DNA test, which confirms their blood relationship. Charles wants to take Sophie back. Sophie expresses her desire to go back with Kent. She likes Kent's home and she likes Kent. Charles disagrees but is refused by Sophie. To avoid upsetting his beloved cousin, Charles reluctantly compromises. Charles calls his family to inform them the good news. Kent is collaborating with Mr. N, unaware that Mr. N is actually Sophie. Kent messaged Sophie, only to realize that she had deleted him. That evening, while playing a game, Sophie was defeated by an unknown player. When Sophie discovered that it was Kent, she confronted him. Kent, with a gentle expression, took her to rest and then promised to help her finish her work. The next day, Charles took Sophie back home. Before leaving, Sophie and Kent bid each other farewell, promising to meet again. Back at Charles's house, Sophie's grandfather and uncle eagerly caught up with her. Sophie simply checked her grandfather's pulse and advised him not to get too excited for the sake of his health. Her grandfather happily agreed. They were angered by Lily's family mistreating Sophie. Being too excited, her grandfather had to take some medicine. After Sophie helped her grandfather with the medicine, she learned that she had two brothers engaged in secret work, and that her aunt was temporarily away. Sophie agreed to move in with her grandfather and then went back with Kent. Charles advised Kent to dress up nicely to match Sophie's youth and beauty, receiving a scolding in return. Once in the car, Sophie became slightly drunk and leaned on Kent. Touching Sophie's lovely face, Kent lets Sophie take a good rest. Upon arriving home, she is too drunk to go to her room alone. Kent protects her and follows her into his room. Kent gently looks what she will do. Looking, she passed out and opened her personal website on the computer. Kent then realizes that Sophie is the Mr. N he collaborate with. Sophie wakes up and realizes that she accidentally revealed her identity as Mr. N while drunk last night. She uses the excuse of Charles having a performance to leave. When Sophie arrives, Charles is in the dressing room. After exchanging greetings and a few pleasantries, Charles asks Sophie to wait at the front desk until the match begins. Unexpectedly, she faces Lily and Kate there. They look down on Sophie, but their words are overheard by the nearby pianist Laura. Laura then has a negative impression of Lily. A contestant's piano is broken and there is no time to replace it. Sophie steps in to repair the piano and plays a few pieces, showcasing her musical talent. Impressed by her talent, Laura invites Sophie as her apprentice but fails. At the piano competition, Lily's performance is well received, but Judge Laura does not approve of her conduct, regretting that she cannot take Sophie as her apprentice. Hoping to be the apprentice of Laura, Lily is so excited to see that Laura gives her a high score. During the announcement of the first and second place winners, Laura questions the originality of Lily's piece. She has confirmed that the renowned pianist Maria is the true author. When Lily presents her manuscript as proof, Sophie in the audience points out that the real original manuscript is hidden in a box at Martin's warehouse, and reveals herself as the pianist Maria. Sophie's great achievement gains Charles and Laura's admiration. Sophie has a group of professors to help analyze the handwriting. After handwriting analysis shows that Lily's is not the original author. Lily's actions have been met with opposition and condemnation from the public. Laura decides to report it to the Piano Association for investigation. The Martin family insults Sophie, who demands that the scandal be exposed in the newspapers. Later, Sophie gifts Laura several original compositions. Laura is so happy and excited. Sophie wants to go back with Kent. Charles is unhappy that he has never been able to accompany Sophie home. Kent grows increasingly appreciative of Sophie. As Sophie gets into the car, she leans on Kent and falls into a deep sleep. Sophie has a nightmare. Kent, looking worried, gently wakes her up, constantly reassuring her. She ends Martin's abrupt pleading phone call. Lily attempts to spread rumors about Sophie was kept by a man, but her parents stop her. Kent's large hand envelopes Sophie, asking if she needs him to seek revenge for her, but she declines. Kent brings Sophie to a colorful and pleasant music room where a precious antique piano, bought at auction by Kent for Sophie, sits in the center. Kent asks Sophie to play for him. After the music ends, Kent takes Sophie to a safe where he has placed the appearance fee for Sophie as the renowned pianist Maria. Overwhelmed with happiness, Sophie not only desires the appearance fee but also yearns for Kent. Kent is delighted that they share mutual feelings. Playfully, Kent expresses his willingness to be Sophie's servant, her knight, making Sophie shyly leave. Kent's lips involuntarily curve into a smile and prepares a big surprise for her. The next day, Kent transferred ownership of 100 properties under his name to Sophie, earnestly asking her to accept his proposal soon. She is touched and agreed. The servants at Lily's house discussed the romantic love story between Kent and Sophie, leading Lily to erupt in anger. She maliciously accused Sophie of being mentally ill and a murderer. Kent, waking up the next day, is entranced by Sophie's face but is interrupted by a text message on his phone. Upon seeing the news of Sophie's defamation, Kent immediately contacts his staff to address the situation. Enraged, but Sophie still discovers the false news about herself. Sophie decides to handle all the past issues properly. She chooses to let the rumors spread further before releasing the evidence of clarification online. And Kent is trying to help find more evidences to punish the Martin family more. Meanwhile, the Martin family is very worried. They fear that the past injustice towards Sophie might be uncovered, especially that they cannot find where the real murder Walker is. In the shadows, Kate's brother Walker is kidnapped and drugged. His pleas for mercy falling on deaf ears, unable to be rescued no matter how sorrowful his cries are. The man still injects something to him. Sophie finally reveals the evidence to the public. It was Walker who intended to harm Sophie, and in self-defense, Sophie ended up stabbing Walker's thigh. However, Walker had Sophie falsely committed to a mental hospital, accusing her of attempting murder because of a failed seduction. Upon learning the truth, Kent is furious. He publicly decides to properly punish Walker and the Martin family. Unable to reach Walker, the Martin family is filled with anxiety. The only savior for them is Sophie. So they actively seek forgiveness by apologizing to Sophie. No matter how much the Martin family tries to appease her, Sophie remains unforgiving and decides to report them for tax evasion. Martin is furious. Nevertheless, Sophie calmly accuses the Martins of mistreating her. Martin eventually falls silent. Meanwhile, Kent discovers that the short-haired girl he met 7 years ago was actually Sophie. Thinking about Sophie's tragic experience, Kent felt very sorry for her. Even though he had injured his hand, he didn't feel the pain. He immediately went to visit Sophie, wanting to see her right away. Kent, after receiving no response to his knock on the door, quietly enters Sophie's room. Kent takes one of the pills Sophie usually took and then got into bed. When Kent wakes up, he finds Sophie gently tracing his nose. A romantic atmosphere fills the air, and they can't resist kissing passionately. As their feelings intensify, Sophie's attention is drawn to Kent's injured hand. Kent expresses his regret and remorse for not taking Sophie away 7 years ago, promising to give her the most love from now on. They simply lean on each other, showing affection and tenderness towards one another. Sophie's pill test report shows it is a potent sleeping pill. Additionally, DNA testing reveals Sophie has a gene that the Martin do not possess. Kent orders to find Walker. Sophie's subordinate informs her that Walker has admitted to all the crimes. She then contentedly leaves and comes across a family in a car accident. Because the journey to this place is too long, the paramedics will take a long time to arrive. But this family has severe injuries and needs immediate care. Luckily, Sophie is skilled in medicine, so she stops to heal this family of 3. Her skilled actions impress everyone, and the couple is extremely grateful to her. During the treating process, the couple grows fond of Sophie, but she already has someone in her heart and cannot become their daughter-in-law. After healing this family, Sophie departs. While treating the injured, Sophie gets blood on herself. Kent is worried and wants to check if Sophie is hurt. In an ambiguous atmosphere, the two immerse themselves in the ocean of love, with Kent seemingly not yet satisfied. Kent hopes Sophie can attend Kent's grandmother's birthday party, and they negotiate to give Maria's Sunset painting to Grandma as present. Sunset is Maria's masterpiece and her first painting. Maria has always been unwilling to sell this painting. Sophie is rather worried about whether they will be able to obtain this painting. But Kent promises confidently that he will definitely secure the painting. What Kent doesn't know is that Sophie is Maria. Even if it's worth $1 billion, Kent still buys the painting since it could be delivered within 10 minutes. Meanwhile, his team finds the deranged Walker in the outskirts, takes him to the police station. At Kent's grandmother's birthday party, Emma, who has always admired Kent, gave Kent's grandmother a painting of Maria's Sunset. The crowd is astonished that Emma managed to spend a large sum of money to purchase Grandma's favorite painting. Shortly after, Sophie and Kent arrived. The grandmother joyfully unwrapped the gifts from both of them, only to discover that they both presented Maria's Sunset. Emma wanted to prove that her painting was genuine. When Emma affectionately called Kent by his name, it made Sophie a bit unhappy. Knowing Sophie's discomfort, Kent announced to everyone that Sophie was his fiancée. Maria's Sunset was painted with rare gold dust. When the lights were dimmed, Sophie's Sunset emitted a faint glow, indicating that it was the authentic piece. At this moment, Kent's parents approached, demanding Emma to apologize to Sophie. Despite being unwilling, facing immense pressure, Emma has no choice but to reluctantly apologize. Then she leaves in a huff. Kent's grandmother really likes Sophie and excitedly introduces her to everyone, expressing the Kent family's fondness for her. After the greetings, Kent goes to Sophie's grandfather and family, promising to love Sophie forever and give her the best. Sophie's grandfather takes Sophie aside to talk and understands that Kent helped Sophie 7 years ago. Also, Kent's behaviors also reassures him to entrust Sophie to Kent. Kent's grandmother calls Sophie's grandfather, expressing that the Kent family all love Sophie and hope to have her as part of the family. At the same time, Kent shows a document to Sophie's family to transfer all his property to Sophie's name. That gains everyone's love and respect. 21 years ago, an incident occurred at a research institute in Country A. When Sophie was 3 years old, her mother jumped into the sea. To find out what really happened back then, Sophie and Kent decide to take a trip to Country A. After the respective teams of Sophie and Kent got acquainted, they set off for Country A. The owner of Country A, William, confirmed Sophie's identity as his daughter through the jade bracelet on Sophie's hand and her mother's name. William takes Sophie to see her mother, Flora. The lady in the video is indeed Sophie's mother, Flora. However, previous DNA test results indicated that Sophie was the daughter of the Martins. William immediately ordered a new DNA test. Due to a genetic mutation, Flora doesn't have much time left to live. Luckily, she can treat her mother. Observing Sophie and Kent being intimate, William, as a father, was greatly displeased. The new DNA test results came out that Sophie was indeed William's biological daughter. However, Sophie has inherited Flora's genetic mutation. Kent was deeply saddened. Flora, who has been healed by Sophie's medical treatment, reunites with her daughter. William, Flora, and Sophie embrace each other sweetly, as if the past grief has dissipated into thin air. After the family reunion, Flora seeks revenge on Martin. It turns out that 20 years ago, Flora had asked Martin to give medication to Sophie, but Martin did not comply. Martin and Kate try to shift blame onto each other, accusing one another, in a futile attempt to reduce Flora's retaliation towards themselves. Flora scoffs at this and asks Sophie if she wants to seek further revenge. Sophie thinks the punishment is enough, and tells everybody that she is pregnant. Kent and Sophie's family are overwhelmed with excitement as they bask in the sunlight.